Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Micah. You guys are rocking with me on Micah's Intellectual Corner. On today's episode, we're going to be checking out a new history channel called History Matters. Well, new to me, not new to you guys. But in today's video, we're going to be checking out how did Europe react to the discovery of the Americas. This is a pretty short video, so I don't mind putting out 2 videos of these a day or whenever I do these. With that being said, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Also, guys, don't forget to check out my shorts series today in history. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys.
The discovery of the Americas was a pretty big deal. As you'll know, Christopher Columbus made his journey there in 1492 and he returned early the next year. But upon...
I feel like if we found an entire continent today, how do you guys think that we would, as a society, feel about that? Because I mean, obviously it's impossible with all the different satellites and stuff in the orbiting Earth. But if we really found like even small new islands or something that could harbor new species and stuff like that, how do you guys think that we would react to that? Because I'm sure that this in their time is just kind of jaw-dropping when you think about it, but let's get into it.
Turned early the next year. But upon his return, what was the general reaction to his discovery? How did Europeans react to the discovery of the New World? Well, as many of you will be aware, Columbus wasn't the first European to see or set foot in the Americas. That title goes to Leif Erikson, who almost 500 years earlier had sailed to North America, news of which had reached Iceland and the rest of the Scandinavian world shortly afterwards. His journey is preserved in sagas, but beyond that there is no known reaction to this discovery. What is known is that by the 1300s most people had completely forgotten about it, and many wondered if those lands were even real. Anyway, in 1493 Columbus returned to Europe, and his letters concerning the discovery were published soon afterwards, and they quickly spread throughout Europe and became extremely popular reading.
I feel like I think one of the stories that he was telling was of cannibals in the Caribbean, if I'm not mistaken, also, which is where the word actually comes from. I think it's from the word Caribis, something like that, Spanish word. But it actually was never found no evidence, I think, was ever found of any cannibalism there. He just was essentially making up stories, and everybody there in Europe or Spain anyway was kind of just going along with it. But yeah,
throughout Europe and became extremely popular reading. There was a lot of excitement, especially among merchants and rulers, since a direct route to Asia had been confirmed. Because at this point people didn't know that Columbus had discovered a new continent, they thought he'd simply reached the Indies, and thus made the Spanish monarchy's dreams come true. Like most Spanish dreams, this one was brought to an end by the Portuguese, who sent Vasco da Gama to sail south and find a route around Africa. He succeeded, and when he returned in 1499, the distance he travelled and the stories he told meant that Columbus probably didn't discover Asia. These new suspicions weren't confirmed until Amerigo Vespucci returned.
Yeah, and I feel like at this time too, with them although we have explorers going all around the world and stuff. I still feel like it's still like they're still discovering things like in say Africa and Asia and stuff like that. I'm gonna get back into it, though, guys.
Weren't confirmed until Amerigo Vespucci returned from his voyage in 1503, and upon his return he referred to the lands that he visited as the New World. His findings were published, and within 40 years this New World had been named after him. So how did Europeans react to this new world? Well, to start, this wasn't some earth-shattering discovery for most Europeans. New lands had previously been discovered in the Azores and the Canary Islands, and the existence of the Americas barely affected them at all.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of them were probably trying to think to themselves like, I'm just not trying to freaking, die today, or I'm not trying to, what am I going to eat today? That's their main concern, not something that they're never going to see in their lifetime anyway, I'm sure.
Since most Europeans had much more pressing issues. And so disappointingly, the reaction of the average European was largely muted. And the same goes for the Church, since the discovery of the New World didn't contradict any theology nor present any immediate issues. As for the rulers of Europe, they did have varied responses. So the Spanish were quick to accept that this was indeed a brand new continent with brand new peoples. There was some disappointment that this wasn't Asia, since the primary motivation was trade, but instead empire would be Spain's consolation prize. And after this there were many efforts to find a navigable waterway through the continent to facilitate any
I feel like speaking of that, I feel like whenever they found the Panama Canal, you have to think they were probably really happy when they found it, but then at the same time they were thinking to themselves like, holy crap, they didn't think to themselves that there was the entire ocean on the other side, the size of freaking Mars. You know what I'm saying? Like, to get to Asia, like that would have been such a shitty ordeal. Let's go and get back to this
continent to facilitate any potential trade with Asia. As for Portugal, they also soon came around to this being a new continent, and whilst they had received a chunk of it from the Pope in 1494, their primary focus was on that sweet Indian Ocean trade. Whereas for the French, the discovery of the Americas presented minor opportunities for trade, proselytizing and conquest, but its rulers were overwhelmingly focused on finding a route to Asia. The English were much slower to accept that the Americas were indeed a brand new landmass. The fact was, until the late 16th century, the English didn't really care for the New World and were much more concerned about internal issues of religion and whether or not to fight France that day. And so, in the end, for the overwhelming majority of Europeans, the discovery of the Americas was of great interest, but ultimately one which had very little impact on their lives. I hope you enjoyed.
Alright guys, we're going to stop right there. I mean, yeah, it makes sense because Spain and Portugal were the only ones to take advantage of it, because they were the only ones to, I guess, weren't really going through a whole bunch of internal affairs too, I guess if you think about it too, because obviously the Holy Roman Empire had way too much stuff going on top of the fact that they didn't have, great water access to it. Same with the Ottoman Empire. And then with the English, I'm pretty sure it's just the fact that they're still trying to conquer the entire island and stuff like that. But guys, thank you guys for joining me on today's history reaction. Please join me on my next episode. With that being said, don't forget to check out my Today in History shorts. I'll see you guys when I see you. I'm out. Peace!